Okay, game na. Yan. Buksan nyo na. Thank you. Kanina ang dami eh. Yan. Thank you. Parang ito yung una ko, ito yung ipopost ko mamaya sa ano nga. I-edit ko yan, tapos ipopost ko yan sa ano, sa aking account. Lalagyan ko na lang sa TikTok account ko. Lalagyan ko na lang ng audio na masaya.
At nga po namin hindi matutuloy eh.
Hindi. Siguro, sinadya lang talaga na medyo late ako makapasok. Hoy, anong Mrs. Gabas? Ako nag-aasawa, no? Di pa niya ako pinakakasalan. Pag nagpakasal na kami. Okay? Okay? Tanggap niyo naman, di ba? Carly, tatay mo.
Well, mami,
Di ba?
tanggap na tanggap.
Di pa mga anak ko dito.
Barbie po.
Oo. Ayan. Thank you. Para di na rin ako umiiyak kasi kanina umiiyak ako eh. Ayan. Ayan. Sana makapasa kami. Ayan, nasagot ko na, di ba? Gawin natin ang paraan. Ulo. Para surprise. At least nagkano kayo ng time para gawin yan, di ba? Thank you.
Ang kanina lang po.
O, di ba? Parang ano yun talaga, niloob talaga ni Lord yan na mangyari yan.
Agagawan po ni Mayora.
Nakita niya sa TikTok kasi yung nagla-last session na, sabi, ma'am, di ba meron sa chuchu? Tapos nagpakita ng ganyan. O, di ba? Yay! Ayan. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mamaya pag nag-picture on cam tayo, ha? Okay na tayo? Yan, bibigyan ko na kayo ng ano, ng mga tips and recommendation. Sige na, pwede na tayo mag-start. Yay, para di na ako maiyak ulit. Tapos na.
Sa isla. Yay.
Ano sa Wala, nasa yung ano, share screen at nawawala. Ayun. Ito na siya. Wala.
Pansin ka namin, magiging sa isla.
Alam nyo ba, pag tinignan nyo yung ano, naalala ko lang, kasi yung pera, tingnan nyo yung 100 pesos. Yung ano doon, di ko alam, kasi sa 500 wala, sa 50 pesos meron. Meron doon yung parang isang part doon, may nakalagay. Kung titingnan mo ng mabuti, hindi siya visible sa naked eye eh. Pero kung malinaw na malinaw yung mata mo, tsaka sa magnifying lens, makikita mo doon talaga nakalagay, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. May ano din yun eh, nasa TikTok din yun. Actually ngayon sa TikTok, hindi na masyadong toxic. Wala na yung mga toxic na tao doon. Napagod na sila. Pagka ano na lang, yung mga talagang creators na lang yung natitira. Okay. Okay, start na tayo guys. Yan. So like I said, ang pinaka-ultimate writing, I mean, the most pinaka-ultimate academic paper that you're going to write is your research paper. So you would wonder why is it that there are research papers that have 4 chapters, some have 5 chapters, because it's based on the institution that you belong with. See, for example, here in BASC, we use the 4 chapters academic paper, or thesis, research, dissertation, and PhD. Okay? So, why is it? When you write your academic paper, you should first, if there is an institutional research manual that is provided, you ask for that because you would be, narinig nyo ba ako? Medyo maingay dito. Okay. You would be much guided on the course of your writing of your thesis paper or of your thesis if you have the research manual. Okay? Minimal supervision na lang ng professor, or if you need approval of a topic, yun na lang. Pero yung writing per se, you will be guided by the research manual per se. When I was writing my master's thesis, syempre, taga Bulacan ako, wala pang pandemic noon. And then my advisor for thesis is from Manila. So, kung hindi ko naman talaga urgently needed na ako ay mag-consult, I just emailed him and then he just provided me the research manual of the university sa St. Paul, sa Manila. So, doon lang. So, most of the ideas that the technical formatting that I follow was through the research manual. So dito, kasi tagal ko nang hinihingi yung research manual, parang nire-revise. So, ako, total naman, to what I see, sa chinek ko yung nasa library, parang okay, halos pareho lang pala ng pattern na ginamit ko nung nag-thesis ako. And siguro iba lang ng may ibang parts lang na hindi man major parts. Yan. So, yun. What I'm teaching now is parang it's a collaboration of what I see from the researches na in our library and from what I've learned. So it's a more of an experiential lesson. Okay. So we already know this. The thesis, it's an academic paper. You compose and why you write a research paper? Because there is an existing situation or problem that wanted to be addressed in an academic way. Wanted to find solution and have it recorded academically so that other people could also benefit from it. Because you can just do the research as research ka. Google, ganyan. Then you know that. But then it's different when you write it down. It's documented. Once it's documented, it could be useful for others and it's recognized by experts. It could be useful for the field that you are studying or that you have a topic of ng research na yon. Okay? What are the parts of the thesis? So in this part, the initial parts, do not wonder again, why is it that other schools have this? Why is it that ours have this? Because again, it is institutional. What's given by what's the given format of the university, of the college, is what the students follow. Okay, so for now, I hope that the revision of the research manual for BASI will be available already by the time that you will be doing your research. So you will be guided. Otherwise, one solution that I can suggest is you visit the library. In there, and then you go to the thesis section. So just try to check the parts of the research or the thesis that's been published or finished by the former students or graduate students of BASI. Okay. So with title page, so usually the generic format for title pages, usually there's the name. It's optional that there's the name of the college, or it could be omitted. Optional yon. But then and also yung may binibigay din sila na format. Yung ibang university may binibigay na page format. As in talagang template, template. In St. Paul, meron kaming template. Okay, dito rin yata may template na binibigay. Okay, so in this part, what's common in all title pages? There's the title, and then there's your name. And then if it's a bachelor's thesis, dyan din nilalagay yung impartial fulfillment of, etc., etc. And what faculty and when did you submit? These are the generic parts that you will find on the title page. But to make sure you visit the research manual of the college, or if there's none, you try to see the pattern in the library in the thesis section. Okay. Approval sheet, this will come from the college also. I think this is already templated. All you need to do is to fill it out. Kasi yun yung sa akin eh. Yun yung ginawa sa naka-template na. The abstract, this is done where after you have finished everything, you will, how do you write this? You will get the highlights of every chapter. The 4 chapters. In Basi kasi we have 4 chapters. Okay. Bakit 4? Because the chapter 2, the RRL, is already merged with chapter 1. So in chapter 2 here in Basi and other institutions, say for example also in St. Paul, the chapter 2 is already the methodology. And then the chapter 3 is the presentation of data. And then last is the recommendation and summary and conclusion. So 4 chapters lang. So yung RRL is included. It's in between bago magkaroon ng, you insert it after the background of the study. Yes. Background of the study. Then you insert related literature. Or after yata, hindi. Depende kasi sa St. Paul, background of the study, and then, ano yun? Objectives, SOP, tapos, tsaka mag-RRL. Tapos yun yung significance of the study, scope and delimitation. Yun. Yung RRL, insert siya bago mag-SOP, or statement of the problem. So with abstract, this is the short or the brief summary of your entire research. You get the highlights of each part. So usually, hindi mo na sinasama yung RRL dito. So you state your title, the problem, and then we dive a little on, you already say the methodology, the highlights of your methodology, and then what are the primary summary, the primary results, and then finally what's the highlighted and most important conclusion, recommendation, and yon, and the summary. Okay. Somehow it's recommended. Some have strict recommendation of 200 words only, some 300. But it depends on the institution. But some has, but in here, parang it's recommended to have only 2 pages. Okay. Approval check the post. Acknowledgement, this is personal. This is something that you write with passion and emotion. Everyone who you wish to give thanks and to express gratitude to. Okay, because of course, this is writing a paper is like climbing up a mountain. So you can't really do it alone. You need support from, if not financial support, but then you need utmost psychological, mental, physical, and emotional support from your family, also academic support from your advisor, from the school whom you are studying with. Of course, you cannot push through. And also with the respondents, being cooperative, you take everyone in here. Dedication, this is optional. Some have dedication page, some do not. Sa amin kasi, they omitted it because parang redundant na siya. Pwede na rin siyang i-include sa dulo ng acknowledgement. Okay. Send the table of contents. Again, this is institutional. You can base your table of contents. You can base your table of contents on the institutional format. So again, what I can suggest is you refer on the research manual or you have the path. Alam ko hindi kasi yata pwede ilabas. So, ito, trick lang. Simplihan nyo na picturean. Kasi bawal ilabas yung thesis. Simplihan nyo na picturean, pero tago, gano'n. Or pwede naman, paalam na kayo ng format. Ma'am, wala kami pattern. Pero usapan nyo ng mabuti si Ma'am Raynong. Para, o kung mabilis kayo magsulat, may kasi kayo mabilis magsulat, so do so. Simplihan nyo na ng konting snap. Kasi si Ma'am Eka, tinuruan ko kami. Hindi nyo naman siya ayaan nyo. So, the after, murahin nyo na. Okay, ito. Another crucial part is yung tables and figures. Siguro one tip that I can give is that you do this when you already finish everything. When everything is already in place. Pag naka-PDF format na siya. Maganda nga pag pag naka-print na, yung ready to buy. Meron kayong parang scratch na printed. Just for the sake of knowing, siguro yun na yung personal copy mo. Pero kung gusto mo medyo meticulous ka, sige mag-separate ka na ng personal na copy mo. Then doon mo i-check which parts of your paper has the tables and the figures. Then you list it down, what page is it, and then para you can form this list of tables and figures. So you do this at the end of everything. Parang table of contents din. Everything is already finished. So you would visit the pages where you put one. Kaya madali yan kung syempre ikaw gumawa ng paper mo. Okay, after nito alam ko dito may table ako nilagay. Okay. So here are the titles of the chapter. So this one, like I said, we've already merged the related review of literature and studies with introduction and the background of the study sa chapter 1. You insert it in between. So after the background of the study, you have the statement of the problem. Then you insert the related studies. And then after that, you have already sum up all the related studies and related literature. Next, you follow up the significance of the study. Okay. Next. Introduction and background of the study. So I'm going to give you tips on writing the introduction. So this is useful also in every paper that you will be writing. Siguro as a general form. You start, ako kasi, I'm going to share my technique. You start with a general idea. Say for example, on my end. Siyempre, crucial na meron kang title. At least working title. Because you will get your key points on writing your introduction through your title. How? Say for example, my topic when I was picking up when I was writing my academic paper in master's was developing an infographic making module for first year English major students of MASI. 2018, yes. So my core core element there is infographic making. All right, developing the infographic making module. Okay, so I started it out on the definition of not the infographic. It's just a support, but the main, um, at the core of the title, which is infographic making. So I defined as a general term what is infographic making. How is it used in globally, and what's its importance? So I wrote it there that it was used for, primarily it was used for marketing, and then eventually it has ventured on education. So some countries have already used infographic making to students, blah, 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 blah. And then, so that's the general, I streamed out to international use. And then on that's the first and second paragraph, I think. On the third paragraph, then you insert the local use of your your core topic. For me, how is infographic making being used here in the Philippines? In here, you're already establishing that there is an existence of this, of your core topic. You're introducing it. There is an existence of this core topic. And then, as you as you go through your paper, you will establish, pagka kasi pa-streamline na, you're streaming it down, there, you would, gradually you will be introducing the deficiencies or the challenges and the problem. Like for example, in here in the Philippines, yes, it's prominent to use the infographic making in the academe in the United States, in not only in the United States but also abroad. Kumbaga, what I'm trying to say is, they're doing it in abroad. Why can't Philippines do it? So if you're introducing, I mean, I would want to introduce infographic making on yes, it's existing, but it's not on the educational field. It's more on the marketing field still. They haven't, the resources for infographic making during the time that I'm using it, that I'm studying, is very limited. All right? So, not just because, now, you considered already that as a challenge, because nowadays, it has paved success on marketing. Why can't it pave success on the educational scene globally? Why can't it be? Is it possible? You do not know yet. I do not know yet that is it possible that it could be accepted or could be utilized also by the Filipino students. So that's my problem. But the thing is, they don't know how to use or make infographic yet. So the solution that I come up with, or the solution that I will propose by making this research or the study, is to develop an infographic making module during that time to address the gap that there is limited sources for infographics for Filipino students. So you see the establishment, there is deficiency, there is limited sources, or there are some kind of challenges that the world has been doing but wala dito sa atin. What's the beauty in that? You're pioneering things. After, if hindi porke wala kayong makita, it means it doesn't mean na hindi po pwede. Kasi nagawa ng iba. Meron din naman tayong wala lang naglalakas ng loob na gumawa. Probably yung one of the reasons. Or kung meron man, kukonti. You need to add. You need to contribute. That's one that's one purpose of doing research and producing something out of research. Because you need to contribute. Yun. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, kaya nga di ba when you're approved, medyo naging lenient ako when it comes to your approval, because hindi pa naman po talaga, kumbaga, kagamitin nyo lang naman yung comma for writing your paper technically, but then the topic of what the problems on veterinary medicine, I do not know. I may not know, or I may not have any idea, because medicine yun eh. What I can share is, how are you going to translate that into paper? That's the thing that I can help you with. So yun, establish. Kailangan kahit maiksi yan, basta't na-establish mo ng maayos. And somehow, you can insert a little bit of quotation, di man quotation, yung parang little citation na ganitong study according kay ganito sa introduction pa lang. And ibuhos nyo lahat ng inyong mga, yung ginagawa nyo sa integrative paper. Yan ay part na ng thesis. Because kung ano yung nakuha nyo sa integrative paper, pwede nyo siyang itahi doon sa result nung pinaka ginawa nyong survey or methodology. Tayo kasi wala tayong methodology sa integrative paper. Nagbasa lang tayo and then sinamarize natin from what we've learned. Kasi if you have a strong if you have strong RRL on your research, sabihan mo, mag-cite ka lang na according to this study, wala na silang questions. Because lagi kang may back and you know your RRL. Yun yung trinain ko sa inyo on this. Kasi parang napansin ko na when I'm doing parang hindi nila, sinulat silang RRL, pero hindi nila masupport doon sa talagang study nila. So parang it's important na you know your RRL are the backbone of your study. If you know your RRL very well, kahit konti yan, kahit 10 yan, if you know it very well, hindi mo padamihan ng RRL yan and related to your study. You know how to connect every RRL to your study. Powerful yun. Very strong yung inyong study. It's not on the quantity, it's more on the quality and the cohesion and the cohesiveness of the RRL to your study. Kasi nga pa tinuruan ko lang kayo, kaya ako lang pinarahan para from basic. Sige, kailangan pala may define ko muna what is this topic. Kunyari, sa communication with animals, ano to, ganito, ganyan. Then, sundan mo ng benefits, disadvantages, naging problems, para makita nyo, for you to understand your topic well. So, pag synthesize mo siya, wala pang methodology, meron ka kagad body of knowledge agad. What more, pag halimbawa, kinumbine mo pa siya doon sa result ng iyong methodology. It would be, kung maganda, it would be a great contribution to your field. Okay? Yan. So, so background of the study, then kayo po pwedeng, kasi minsan maghiwalay yung introduction, tapos background of the study. Siguro doon sa introduction, tayo kasi pinagsama ko na lang kasi ganun din naman yun. Pero for the sake of complying for the format, sa background of this, okay, you can, yung sa introduction, pwede mo na siya kagad, pwede mo putulin hanggang doon sa parang pag-i-introduce doon sa Philippine setting. Pagdating sa background of the study, doon mo ibuhos, you rationalize, why do you, kumbaga, puputulin mo lang yung reason, kasi doon sa introduction, sometimes, doon mo na ilalagay yung reason, i-rationalize mo na bakit kailangan siya. Tapos, doon sa background of the study, kung meron pa rin siya, kung kasama siya sa format, doon mo ngayon ipapasok yung rationalization. Yung introduction, introduce mo lang siya na merong existing na ganito, existing na siya sa buong mundo, tapos nag-exist naman siya sa Pilipinas, kaya lang hindi naman masyadong napapansin. I-cut mo na doon, something like that. Or nag-exist sa Pilipinas, pero dito sa probinsya ng Bulacan, parang wala. I-cut mo na doon. Tapos, sa background of the study, doon ka magsimula, doon sa probinsya ng Bulacan. I-rationalize mo ngayon. Bakit kailangan siya? Then, pwede ka pa rin mag-insert ng mga studies. Pwede ka mag-insert ng mga, huwag naman lahat, siguro, mga pertinent studies na to support your claim. Bakit, pwede naman from other province na ginawa na, halimbawa sa ibang SUC, ginawa yung ganitong ba't hindi natin i-implement dito? Something like that. Para lang ma-comply mo yung background of the study. And sa background of the study, kasi susunod na doon, ilalagay, therefore, this has propelled the researcher to conduct blah, 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 blah. After that, background of the study, usually ang kasunod na niya ay SOP or Statement of Objectives. Eh, ba't kasi ito nilakagay? Nakapepelit. Okay. Amaya na natin significant of the study. Madalin. The statement of objectives, what you're going to do is, umpisa pa lang, yung umpisang statement, general statement of your objectives or the problem is the study or the researcher, but it's much better. Researcher aims, and then you restate your title. To develop an infographic making module. Kasi ako developing. So you translate it into something na ano naman, grammatically correct. Right? To develop an infographic making module to teach digital writing and among the BAC student, something like that. Kasi sinortcut ko na lang, pero mahaba yung title ko. Anyway. So yon. Specifically, sabi may ganon. Specifically, so yung ngayon, that's the time na you would ask. You can consult your advisor or you can check the research manual if it's there. Kung ano yung, kung paano dinideliver yung statement of the problem, question type or naka-objective type. Kasi on my end, parang masanay ako na puro objective type. Parang it's statement type. Imperative. Say, for example, for my first problem, statement of the problem or argument, I stated there, determine the knowledge gap of the students or the participants about infographic making. Question then, about the following. Parang binago kasi sa akin, binabago yun eh. A, infographic making, and B, knowledge gap. And B, digital writing. Then number 2, know the prior knowledge of the participants about infographic making, and B, knowledge gap. Letter C, develop a module to address the knowledge gap. Letter C, assess the kasi education yung education related. Assess and evaluate the results of assess and evaluate the results of the implementation of the enhanced module. Yun. Perhaps, pwede yun, ita-translate nyo lang ito question. So what are the prior knowledge of the participants about knowledge gap and, about infographic making and digital writing? Then what are the knowledge gap? Ano ba ako? Or prior knowledge. Basta yung number 2. Okay. Then, what tool do you need? What tools need to be developed to address the challenges? Then, what are the effects of the implementation of the knowledge of the module? Like that statement of so apat. That's my that's my that's how I stated the problem of my study. So the statement of the problem will depend on your title. So kaya nga, di ba, pag change ng title, change lahat. You should be very careful of your title. Pag change yung title, kung hindi mo kabisado yung paper mo, mababago yan talaga lahat. Lalo na pag halatang pinagawa, mababago yun. Pag nabago kasi, one change or one twig on your title would really affect everything on your paper, especially on the statement of your problem. Okay, so say for example, analysis. What I can suggest when you do analysis, yes, you do analysis on the effectivity of say for example, of a vaccine. So after the analysis, to deepen your study, what I can suggest is you come up with something. So after mo ma-analyze, hindi ba na lang kung papayagan talaga kayo na Yun lang, na baseline information lang. Kasi, sabagay, ano lang naman, bachelor's thesis lang naman. But then, yung iba kasi, ibang mga, depende sa professors. After the analysis, what would happen? After you know this data, what would happen? What would you develop? Kasi if you're going to develop something out of the analysis, that would deepen your research. It would give a better contribution to the field of your profession. So okay, after knowing the analysis of or finding out the analysis of the vaccine, siguro hindi ka naman magde-develop ng vaccine. Perhaps policy. Ewan ko, parang ganon. Not quite sure. Pero kasi sa education, just to share, after magkaroon ng analysis, especially sa graduate studies, after you analyze, hindi lang pwedeng analysis. Dapat may something kang to contribute. So, it's either when you analyze, you would see problems. You would address, you would come up with something, with an instructional material, with a learning tool, or with assessment tool, a book, a guideline to support or to address the problems on your analysis. Siguro something like this to give you, just to give you an example. Kasi doon, lalalim yung inyong. So when you do analysis, mag-ano ka lang yun. Gagamit ka lang na. May instrument ka, survey. Then, analyze mo yung. Then, after magpa-survey, data collection, you analyze the result. Yun. You would just see that there are advances and there are fallbacks on kasi for example, on the vaccine that was being analyzed. Yun. Pampalalim lang, yung meron kang gagawing intervention. Yun, that's a term, intervention. Knowing that there are problems. Okay, hindi ako makapag-suggest masyado sa medicine, sa med kasi number one, it's not my field of expertise. What I can just suggest is the concept. Kayo bahala. Kayo ang maging experts dyan. You would know better on your field. So, what I can just give is yung guidelines. Okay, next. Ay, ito pala. Significance of the study. Who are the beneficiaries of your study? Like, who would, from the priority, who would benefit best? Sila yung nasa top part. And then, who would least benefited? Sila yung nasa bottom part. You would know that because you were told that because kayo naman talaga yung magsusulat. Tingin nyo, if the animals would benefit this more, ito yun, reason out mo why. And then pet owners. And then, siguro pangatlo na lang yung department na nangangasiwa for animals. Ganon. Then, siguro, other researcher, basta the topmost part would be the most beneficial. Okay. Next. Ay, nasabi ko na. Conceptual framework. Sinabi na lang siya conceptual framework. Kasi minsan theoretical framework. If you anchor it from theories. Conceptual framework. If you have a theory, and then you already have incorporated the theory to your study. Alright? Tapos, pag nangyari na yon, meron kang theoretical framework, and then naipasok mo siya sa iyong study, that's the time na pwede siyang tawagin na operational framework. But also, it depends on the institution still, if they're going to call it theoretical framework or conceptual framework. But then, what I know is pag theoretical framework, theory-based, kasi yung nowadays nga, hindi na lang kasi theory-based. Pwede kang model-based na yung meron kang napag-aral siguro on your major subjects. So, what the tip that I can give is, halimbawa meron kayong major subject na na napupusuan. Yan, karin nyo yun. So that there would be models, theoretical models, or even actual models, study models that you can use. Masterin nyo yun. Para when you do your theoretical framework or your conceptual framework, kahit hindi kayo maliligaw. Okay, so ganito pala, ganyan. So on my end, yung naging theoretical framework ko is the, nakalimutan. Existentialist, nakalimutan ko yung framework ko. About existential learning theory. Na through experiential learning theory, through experience of being hands-on learning, mas madaling mag-grasp ng students yung lesson. Yun. So, still, it would depend. How would you apply conceptual framework or yung theoretical framework? Siyempre, makikita mo naman dun kung, okay, ma-realize yan. If you know the framework very well, doon sa study mo, apply mo siya kagad. Ang hirap ko bigay ng example. Say, for example, sige, doon sa akin, experiential. Meron doon kasi na yung eyes, yung senses, or the experience of doing something would cause retention. Kasi lahat ng nerves mo sa mata, sa kamay, or if you can smell it, or you can taste it, you can touch it, it's diretso sa utak. There is a certain part of your brain that would trigger memory retention. So di ba when you're hands-on, kasi yung infographic is gagamit ka ng gadget. Tapos on applying the templates and then coming up with the design. So matatandaan mo siya, yung procedure. Kasi you've experienced doing it. Parang dun sa research ko, parang you need to experience doing it. Hindi lang pwedeng visual. Kailangan na experience ng estudyante yung paggawa so that the knowledge, there will be learning. Mariretain siya sa memory. So yun. Okay? So yan, parang ganyan. Pero mahirap kasi Hindi sinabi kasi kung anong theory yung nandito. Scope and limitation or scope and delimitation. In here, still go back to you refer again to your title. For the scope, the study will just limit or will only cover halimbawa, infographic making and digital writing. It will be limited. The study will not tap the lessons on reading and listening and other macro skills. And verbal something. Yun. And then, ano pa yung limitations? Saan ko i-conduct? Hindi naman siya sa buong Bulacan, but rather it should just be around the sea. In limited education only. Education students lang. Din sa college-wide. So lahat ng possible limitations, ilagay nyo na para hindi kayo sabihin, bakit hindi nyo nila yun na That's because pagka tinanong sa defense in the future. Because that's a part of the limitation of our study, ma'am. Itatanong. Kasi yun, discretion ng researcher yun. Usually pagka nakalagay, naka-state sa limitation. Okay. Definition of terms. In here lang kung ina-advise, wag nyong you didn't define as per dictionary. You define it kung paano nyo naintindihan at paano nyo ginamit inside your research. For example, ako yung dalawang terms ko is prior knowledge and knowledge gap. Yung prior knowledge, what you know, what the student know about digital writing and knowledge and infographic making, what you already know. Yung knowledge gap, what do they know? What do they lack learning of? Yun. Hindi naman pabonggahan na marami dapat yan. Yung pinaka-importante is what's important. Chapter 2, hindi ko ba ako nakalimutan? Scope limitation. Pag may, parang wala naman na. Okay. Chapter 2. Okay. Ano yun? Saan yun?
Ano po yung dalawang type ng definition of term, yung operational at po yan?
Operational, technical.
Hindi po ata
Kasi isa lang ginamit ko dun eh. Yung kasi na-experience ko ha.
galing
Yung galing kasi ako, based on my experience, nung nagre-research ako, hindi ako masyadong gumagamit ng galing sa internet. Pinatanggal sa akin yun. Sabi ko nga, institutional siya. Pinatanggal sa akin, ang pinatira lang sa akin what's significant on my study. Ang dami talagang natanggal. Ako, dinefine ko na siya on my own ha. Pero, ang dami pa rin natanggal. So, parang ang natira na lang 10 or less than 10. Kasi ang mas prioritize is what is the definition that was used in the study itself. Yon. Kasi may mga tinanggal yung mga galing sa references. Yung definition of terms on my end kasi yun nga, another thing, pwede kasing institutional din siya. Depende doon sa titingin, doon sa panel members or your advisor. Kaya it's important that there is research manual talaga. Kasi yun yung magiging basis of everything that you will, guided din siya, guidelines din siya. Whatever you will be writing on your paper, from the technical format to how are you going to write every part of your paper. And your preparations also for the defense, for the pre-oral and the oral defense, or the title defense, and then the final validation. On our part kasi, we didn't call it defense kasi parang it's scary. So we use title validation if you want to approve title. And then, first, ano ba? Proposal validation, wherein you just need to prepare the first 2 chapters of your paper. And then, your final defense, final validation. That's a final defense. Kailangan sa St. Paul, we call it validation. Okay, yon. Siguro you ask with your research professor in the future, what terms would they expect? Kasi yun nga, like I said, institutional siya. So it is but important that you ask you ask everything from the institution. And lahat ng basis ninyo manggagaling sa references in the institution, sa library. Itingnan niyo yung patterns na ginamit ng mga former students. On your part, kayo ang magkakaroon ng, you will be the first in the pioneering batch. We hope and pray that to contribute veterinary-related researches here in the city. Okay? Yan. Next is questions so far. Okay, chapter 2. Ito kasi actually technically it's not chapter 2 already like I've explained, but some integrates But some separates related literature to chapter 1, but some integrated it. Okay, so when you write your chapter 2 or your related literature, these are coming from books, magazines, newspapers. Nowadays, online newspapers na wala naman talaga kasi nakita ng or subscription na lang talaga yung newspapers and magazine na hard copy. We really don't, we opted to use the digital formats. Okay? So, I think also in related literature, di ko lang i-include pa kasi malilimit kayo. Kasi ano nga natin, ang goal natin for the related, for the integrative paper is for you to explore how to create good RRLs and kaya integrative paper ang sinabi. Kasi sinamarize nyo. And synthesize nyo sa after. Okay, kasi yun. Para hindi kayo limited. Pero usually, sinasabi na dapat 10 years back, 2020 ngayon, dapat yung articles or yung depende ulit, institutional ulit. If it's 5 years back, syempre mas mahirap. 10 years back, medyo maluwag na konti. So you can ask, anong year, ilang taon po dapat yung tanda ng RRL? Okay, you can have 10 years back. So ngayon, 2020, magto-2021. So by next year, your oldest RRL should be 2011. Hindi ba medyo maluwag pa? Diba, December 2020 naman ito na okay. Hindi naman din ganun pakatanda. Pero pag halimbawa mga 1990 something. But there's an exception. Pagka ganun. Pag talaga siya ay made your, say for example, major contribution or the forefather of say for example, si psychology, si Piaget. Ang tanda na di Piaget, ang tagal na nung kanyang mga theories. So if you want to quote Piaget na 1970 something or 1980 something, do so. Kahit matanda, kumbaga, in short, he is already an institution in the field. So quoting him, even though it's already years and years back, it's just fine. Okay. So related studies, yung mga published journals, or sometimes pwede rin unpublished journals, mga digital repository from other universities. Dissertations, master thesis, something like that. Or mga empirical studies. Yun. Pwede, depende. Pero depende rin talaga dear kasi pero usually, ngayon tinatanggap 5 to 10 years. Dito sa atin, ang tanggap ngayon 5 to 10 years. Yun. Okay. Next, chapter 2 ito. In some institutions, but chapter 3 for some institutions. Sa atin, chapter 2, methodology. So dito, you would relate or translate everything into words yung gusto mong mangyari. The procedure. So the design, I'm not good in statistics and this, pero what I remember with design is anong type of research design. Ako kasi, what I'm familiar with, I'm just gonna share. Okay? What I'm familiar with is little descriptive, which is the quali and quanti. Hindi rin ako masyadong galing sa quantitative. More on narration ako, quali interview. Pagka, halimbawa, nung nag-research ako, yung qualitative part, quantitative part, yung pinaka-simple. I think yung standard deviation lang yung ginamit ko. Alright. Then humingi pa ako ng assistance sa mga mathematician kong friends. Kasi hindi talaga ako magamay. Yun. Pero yung sa qualitative, yan, thematic analysis, yung sa FGD, dyan ako talaga umariba. Sige, inano ko siya, i-analyze mo yung bawat sagot sa thematic analysis ng mga respondents. Okay, sige. Mahirap yun what's good? Ito, doon natin yung pros and cons. Okay, quantity muna, quantity. Sa quantitative, if you're good at numbers, okay sa'yo to. Kasi, computation, madami ka nga lang respondents. Pero, parang ano lang yan, pasagot ka ng survey, and then, tabulation, and then, pero, ngayon nga may SPSS something na eh. Diba? So, ayun. Diba? Diba may SPSS something, so madali na. Madali mag-tabulate. Ang dilemma dito, kaya hindi ako masyadong comfortable. Ito, personal ko to ha. I'm not saying nagayain nyo. Kung saan kayo komportable, dun tayo. Dun yung master. Okay? So, ako kasi, hanggang standard deviation lang kaya ng powers ko. So, yun. Kaya yung ginagawa ko, mixed method. What's good is, yun nga, magko-compute ka lang. Kung mathematician ka, good sa'yo to. Alright? And yun nga, madami. Pero ang tatanong kagad, ang possible na tanong sa'yo kagad sa defense, bakit ito lang yung population mo? Yun. Meanwhile, hindi ko naman binibuild up yung qualitative. Pero, nowadays, ang qualitative, mas gusto siya sa international scene. Kasi mas realistic. Why? Kasi interview yan eh. Karaniwan dyan, interview. Diba? Mas nakukuha mo yung insights ng mga respondents mo. At anong masarap sa qualitative? Konti lang ang respondents mo. Marami na ang 15. Kasi ang bigat niyan is dun sa responses nila. Iti-thematic analysis mo yan. Yung word analysis lang is, kung kayo naman ay writers, diba? Ito, bagay sa inyo yan. Kasi marunong ka ma-analyze na yung bawat sagot. Ititib nyo sila. Okay, si respondents 1, ay si interviewee number 1 at saka si interviewee number 2 sa question number 1 ko. Pareho sila ng sagot. Therefore, sa conclusion, dun mo ilalagom yung mga sagot na magkakapareho. Kita nyo yung pros, di ba? Kita nyo yung pros and cons. Kasi, oo. Parang kinahon, parang somehow, hindi naman sinasabing kinahon, kaya lang, parang meron ka ng expectation. But then, yung maganda sa quali, pwede pang mag-extend. Sinabi ni ganito pala, yung expectation niya or perception niya dun sa study mo or dun sa core topic mo. Yung maganda, yung beauty ulit, another beauty of the quanti, na meron kang questionnaire, control mo yung mga tanungan. Meanwhile, yung like yung sa quantitative, medyo open. Kaya kailangan mo siyang, ikaw ang bahalang mag-synthesize ulit ng sagot nung in-interview mo. So, sa mixed method, you do both. Na, ako naman, para ba ginawa? Pero hindi lang naman sa questionnaire natatapos ang quantitative. Sige, yung sa akin, kasi yung sa akin, triangulated kasi yung ginawa sa akin ng professor ko. So, meron akong quali. Dalawa yung quali ko. Dalawa. Okay. Kaya triangulated siya. Medyo higher form of na yan. Pero share ko na rin. Parang, ginawa ko yung module, that's quali. Nag-FGD ako, quali yun. Then, meron akong pre-test, post-test, that's the quanti. Pinagawa sa akin ng professor ko. So, pumasa naman ako. So, I believe tama yung ginawa ko. Pumasa naman siya. Pumasa naman sa kanya dahil research director yung professor ko yung master ako eh. So, pumasa naman sa kanya. So, I think tama naman yung ginawa ko. Nag-graduate naman ako ng matiusay. So, I think tama naman yung ginawa ko. Yun. So, ano pa? Ayun nga. So, i-share ko ulit yung ginawa ko sa akin para magkaroon kayo ng idea. Sabi ko, hindi lang nakakahon sa questionnaire. Pwede kayong gumawa ng, ako kasi on my end, dahil ano siya, material siya, nag-come up with the material, rubrics. Actually, ang test paper, pwede rin siyang source ng data. Sagutan na yun eh. Di ba questionnaire yun? Existing na. Sa ibang mga teachers, ginagamit ang test paper as source of their material, of their data. I-analyze lang nila yung answers. Then, siguro on your end, if you're coming up with, say for example, halimbawa, meron kayong ipoproduce na method. O meron kayong nag-analyze kayo, tapos meron kayo gusto i-propose na method na gusto nyong malaman kung tama. Experimentation, usually experimentation. You can devise a rubric for that. Hindi ko kasi ito, share ko para magka-idea. Ang ginawa ko kasi, so, nagpa-pretest muna ako. I hope you can relate. Siguro, you can administer an assessment para on your end. Sa mga pet owners. Yan. Pwede dyan, gagawa nyo ng pre-diagnostic matrix yung alaga nila. Yan. So, syempre, pagka ganyan, ipapaalam ninyo doon sa mga pet owners na tawag dito na actually, on your end, I can suggest para kakaroon kayo ng mixed method na medyo hindi ganun kabigat is patients. Mga patients na merong special cases. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung mga special cases kunyari, halimbawa, example lang naman ito, suggestion. Halimbawa sa Shih Tzu, mayroon lang silang particular na breed lang ng Shih Tzu, merong ganitong sakit pagdating nila ng mga 7 months, ganon. Hindi ko alam, I'm not sure, ganyan. Nag-real ako ng example. So, para mas maliit yung population ninyo, ito na tayo. Yan, population na tayo. Didiretso ko na, tutuhog ko na. Hence, dun sa qualitative and quantitative kineme. Di ba? Ginawa kasi, nag-set lang ako ng criteria. Kung sino lang yung qualified na maging respondents ko. Non-probability. Yung, limitation din yun. So, kailangan ang kukunin ninyo ay mga pet owners, halimbawa, mga pet owners na Shih Tzu na ganitong edad. Limit. Mag-defend kagad na ito lang talaga yung pwede kong interviewin na qualified kasi sila lang yung pet owners na ganito. So dito meron ako may nagpa-approve sa akin dito, rabbit racer siya, rabbit breeder. Kung ikakaririn, sino yun? Sino yun? Girl, nandito ka ba? Baka nag-out siya. Anyway.
Ma'am, si Aya po.
Oo, si Aira. Bibigyan na kita ng tip, girl. Rabbit breeder ka kung talagang kinakaroon mo ang pagna-rabbit breed. Maghanap ka ng mga kapwa mo breeder. Pwede sila na. Siyempre kailangan. Di ba limited? Hindi naman ganun kalaki talaga. I think on my part hindi ko alam kung gaano karami ang rabbit breeders sa San Ildefonso o sa buong Bulacan. Diba? At least specific lang kasi na kailangan mo ay mga rabbit breeder. O kung halimbawa, merong specific rabbit na binibreed ka, hindi siya yung common rabbit. Hindi ko alam. I'm just suggesting na yung kulay blue ang mata. Alam mo, they're pula. Hindi ko alam. Parang halimbawa, merong mga rabbit na, kasi karaniwan sa kanila, di ba, pula mata. Di ba, pula mata. So, halimbawa, kung merong magkakaroon, halimbawa, ng species ng rabbit na medyo lighter ang kulay ng mata o black ang mata. Sila lang yung mga owners, mga rabbit breeder na pwede mo pwede mong isali. Ang tawag doon sa ganong sampling method ay, ano yun? It's a non-probability sampling na purposive. May purpose. You set a criteria. Okay, ang kailangan ko lang sa research ko, yung mga rabbit breeders. Kasi si rabbit breeders na may blue ang mata. Hindi ko sure or may iba. Halimbawa, meron bang rare? Ayun, sila, di ba? So sila lang yung kailangan. Kasi depende kung ano yung gusto nyong malaman sa isa't isa. May comparison or comparative analysis on ganito. Kasi on your own, ikaw lang nakakita ng observation mo na yun. Gusto mong i-prove, so kailangan mo mag-conduct ng interview. Okay, so siguro pre-assessment analysis. Actually, yung ganun. Kung talagang sa buong Bulacan, ang may population lang, ang sa population ng mga breeders sa buong Bulacan, 5 lang ang may blue na mata. Ewan kung rare case yun I'm not sure. Kung rare man siya, 5 lang ang oobserbahan mo. Kaya lang, kailangan, anuhin mo sila. Thoroughly, bibisitahin mo sila. Ganun ang ginagawa ng mga researches. So you establish relationships with the owners. So, kung 5 lang kayo, ano magagawa mo? Wala nga mga nakapan. Alangan maghanap ka ng wala. At least established yun na siguro based on the checking of the database in the organization on the rabbit breeder organization of Bulacan. There are only 5. Whereas on their record, there are only 5 breeders who own rabbits that's having this particular. Halimbawa, anong breed ng rabbit? Anong pangalan ng rabbit na yun? So, researcher, o di ba ang sarap no? 5 lang, may purpose. Hindi mo kailangan kuhanin lahat ng hindi mo kailangan kuhanin lahat. Kaya the more specific your title could be, o specific, rare yung animal na hahanapin ninyo. Definitely yung population niyan or your owners niyan, mas konti. Kumbaga, is medyo siya, mas easier siyang hanapin. Pero syempre, yung depth, you dig deeper, yung information yan is already pertinent enough. Yun. So, I suggest, kung paborito nyo aso, breeder kayo ng aso, yung kokonti ang population na ownership ng aso na meron kayo, dun, para mas, nasa sa inyo ang ikadadali. What I'm saying is, nasa sa inyo ikadadali at ikahihirap ng buhay research ninyo. Because you dictate what you want to study. Yun yung na-figure out ko ano nagawa ako. Nasa akin pala, kahihirap at ikadadali ng buhay ko. Kung pasok naman siya sa banga, bakit hindi? Kung may depth naman yung, yung paghahanap at saka yung pagkumbinse doon sa mga pet owners na sumali doon sa inyong, is already a challenge. Tsaka yung layo. Kung halimbawa target mo, buong Bulacan, yung layo ng bawat places. So it's more of being organized also. Not very much not very much familiar with the sampling techniques and whatever. Pero based on my experience, 2 yung ginamit ko. So during the qualitative part, 2 section. Purposive. Kailangan sila enrolled sa BASI, first year student na taking up ganitong subject. So, kumbaga, dinescribe ko lang naman yung dinescribe ko yung sections na ako. Ayun. Then, pero dinescribe ko siya, hindi, parang convenience. Hindi, dinescribe ko siya. Yun yung purpose kasi kailangan ko sila. Ito yung characteristic na meron sila. That would support my study. And sa quantitative, quanti pala yun. Sa quali, FGD, yun, random lang. I use simple random sampling at 20% of the entire population. Yun ko siya kinapap. Research instrument. This could be adapted, researcher made, or adopted. Adapted, usually, ginagawa ng mga researcher. Maghahanap sila ng existing empirical research na kagaya na sa kanila Tapos yung research material, research instrument na ginamit nun, gagamitin na lang din nila. At least meron ng gumamit. Kumbaga, hindi siya, and merong tinatawag dito yung index, differential index, nakalimutan ko yung tawag. So may 0.6, gano'n. 0.6, gano'n. Ganyan yata dapat around 0.6 yung pointing ng instrument bago mo siya magamit. I think, yun. Then, meron dito, bumaba. Ay. Validation procedure. Ito kasi, nagagamit siya for doon sa math pa rin to kasi. Pero ginamit ko kasi to when pina-validate ko yung yung rubrics ko. Kasi at saka yung module. So ano lang siya, parang meron ako ginamit na rubrics, pina-checkan ko, suggestion from experts. Yun. And then data gathering procedure. Ito, this is how parang you're gonna make kwento. Data gathering procedure. Yan. You're gonna make kwento. How are you going to conduct your research? You're gonna make a narrative form. Now first is the researcher would administer a pre-diagnostic kineme to your test to the owner or to the participant, animals. Pwede naman ask mo na kayo ng permission to authorizing agencies so that you can tap your prospected animal owner or pet owners. So pag nakakuha na kayo ng permission, that's the time na pwede nyo na gawin nyo na talaga yung procedure na diagnostic muna, ganyan. Kung meron man sa condition, and then tapos kung meron kayong i-develop. From there, makikita ninyo yung compare nyo ano yung mga insufficient. From there, or mga challenges, from there, dun mo malalaman kung ano yung kailangan mo i-come up. Diba? Kailangan mo ng, kailangan mo pala lang, I don't know kunyari, kailangan mo ng, kasi on my end, nalaman ko na ganito yung kulang sa mga estudyante, they need to learn this. So nagawa ko ng module to address that. So yung module, ginamit ko din sa kanila. Ganon. So I'm not sure ano yung mga sakit-sakit ng mga hayop and mga conditions nila that you want to address. Then, nag-administer ba kayo ng something? O hanggang doon lang, sa malaman mo lang kung ano yung mga sakit-sakit na common. Kasi naman yun, hanggang doon lang, wala ka ng intervention. Ngari, analysis on the common common illnesses of the ganitong breed. So, interview mo lang sila, ganyan. So, tapos, you synthesize, you analyze the answers of the pet owners, yun na. Yun ang iyong, yun na ang iyong presentation. Then, statistical treatment, yung pinakasimple kasi, natutunan ko yung standard deviation. Languages kasi ako, hindi naman ako math. So, then, nag-produce ako ng something more on thematic analysis, pagka-qualitative analysis, pagka-qualitative type of research. Kasi, yun nga, like I said, i-interview yun eh. Sinasagot nila, your data would come from the interview. Pero maganda na, may support ka ng quanti, na basic, kahit simple. Para pag nag-tabular ka, madali siyang i-present. Ako kasi ginawa ko, yung rubric na ginamit ko, yun yung ginamitan ko ng standard deviation. meron akong certain per at 2 point ganito, 2.6, masasabi ko na sila ay may prior knowledge. Sa 2.6 and below, wala silang prior knowledge. Ganon. Nakatabular din siya. Okay. Tapos sa dulo, pwede doon mo na kunyari, sa number 1, table. Tapos, lagyan mo doon yung analysis and interpretation mo doon sa table, doon sa nakapresent sa table. Then, pwede mo agad i-support doon sa doon sa mga questions sa interview, yung pampa-strengthen na sagot coming from the interview, from the pet owner. Kung quanti siya. Okay, question number 1 mo sa interview would strengthen the question number 1 on your, or the objective number 1. Isama mo niya. Okay, according to pet owner number 1, he said again, it strengthens somehow. The researcher interprets that the statement of pet owner number 1 supports the result in this on the table. Parang ganon. Tatahiin mo na sila. Okay. So, ano naman yung part ng RRL? According to according sa dulo, which according to kay ganito, pwede namang isa or dalawa. O pwede sa dulo mo na ilagay yung sa RRL. This above, ayan, summing up the result or analyzing the result, interpreting the result, we can say that it destroys or supports the theory about or what the statement of ganitong tao. Sino man yun? Ano, support yun. Binalik mo siya ulit dun sa RRL mo. Di man kailangan lahat. Mayroong points lang na, yung highlighted na point lang, yung pwede mong isama. At least nakabalik ka pa doon sa theory mo, sa mga theories mo. Okay. Chapter 4, Chapter 5. Yan. Summary. Lahat ng objectives mo, 1 to 4, lahat ng highlights nun, summary. Yun yung summary. Lahat ng sagot doon. Okay. So, conclusion, nakita mo na ngayon lahat ng sagot. Therefore, conclude that, okay, ganito pala. Therefore, si rabbit, yung mga rabbit na may ganitong characteristics ay prone to, according to studies, yan pwede ka rin magpasok ng a little RRL dyan, a little review, the chemical chuchu, meron mang ganun, di ba? Was proven to have ganito, ganyan. Ako kasi on my end, para di ako chuchu nang sumasagot dito, on my end, ang naging conclusion ko is that, yung ICT, MIL, para yung MIL ng high school, somehow is medyo, ng senior high school is medyo lacking sa batch na naturuan ko. Yun pa lang nilagay ko. And then, needs further support on the languages, parang gano'n, language area for students, parang gano'n. Then sa recommendation, so the researcher recommend to strengthen to suggest, parang recommends more parang emphasis and focus of teaching MIL subjects among senior high, so that it can be verbally, so they can be more be more media literate when they enroll to college, something like that. Yun. Ang recommendation, hindi lang recommend that is to, another part of my recommendation, gamitin yung module ko. Pwede siyang gamitin by other researchers. Okay. Or pwede rin naman, other research, pwede pa nilang i-enhance if they want to. Yun. Yan. So that ends our semester. Stop ko na yung record.